Hello, I greet you. Welcome one more time to Homo Politicus on Enterprise TV. We look at anything and everything thrown up by the Nigerian state. Have a go at it, just so you know. Today, political buccaneers at work in River State. Wike slams PDP leaders for aiding Fubara. Now, the English dictionary describes a political buccaneer as an unscrupulous adventurer who preys on situations for personal advantage. He does this without batting an eyelid. Watchers of the unfolding political scenario in River State are waiting with bated breath for what happens next. Now, like a gadfly, former Governor Wike stokes the fire in River State politics ceaselessly, and some insist for a reason. In his latest act of brinkmanship, the FCT minister forcibly strikes PDP leaders in the state for standing by embattled Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Wike is confounded that heavyweight politicians who dismissed Fubara as a neophyte before the 2023 polls are today standing behind the man the day after. Well, nothing is ever certain in politics. Let's have a discussion. And my two discussants are Akin Fatunke. He is a chartered accountant and a public affairs analyst. Akin, one more time, I welcome you.
I thank you, Citizen Jones. It's a pleasure to be here. Greetings to our listeners and watchers.
Okay. Akin is joined by Cyril Abako, the broadcaster communications consultant. Cyril, we are honored by your presence. Welcome.
My pleasure to be here.
Well, Akin, let's defer to Cyril. Rivers is the state.
I will have to defer to him because he crossed some river before he got here, so it's true.
Yes, Cyril, what's playing out in your state is not Greek, does not sound Greek to you.
No, it doesn't. As a matter of fact, there are too many contradictions in the unfolding scenario that require us to deconstruct it systematically, if you like. So first, there was a news conference in Port Harcourt where heavyweights, the biggest names in the PDP in River State, the likes of former Minister of Transport and SSG in River State, Dr. Sekbo, the likes of former Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps, Austin Opara, the likes of former, of course he was governor, for what it is, what he was running as governor, but later on, the court came and disannulled his governorship. That's speaking about Chief Celestine Omehia and a handful of them. Two things were said at the press conference. One, they said they were for the governor, and number two, they said they were for Mr. President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In doing this,
even though they are PDP members.
And that's where I'm going. So in doing this, they have inevitably denounced Nyesom Wike, who up until he became Minister of the FCT.
That's in your estimation?
Yes, was. No, well, of course, but I think they said it. They slammed the former governor, who is now FCT minister, backed the current governor, and then declared support for Mr. President. Let us now try to unpack these three items. One is that in backing Mr. Governor, who is a riverine governor, clearly there's a shift in their calculation because Wike, being an upland governor, right, was going to leave office after 16 solid years of, after about 23 solid years of upland governors, 1999 up until when Wike left office. They had all been upland governors. They clamor for a governor from the riverine part of River State. Had not been any more trenchant at the time. But whether it was going to be similar level or not was what was being debated. And in that milieu, Governor Wike's choice of Fubara prevailed over and above the opinion of big party men, such as Dr. Sekbo and Co. Alright? So even if for the optics, Fubara seemed to tick the box of the clamor for a riverine governor, he was not the organic choice of these party big men that are now talking today. They didn't want Mr. Governor to give power to him. They didn't want Wike to make him successful because they thought he had no experience. He was not. He hadn't really been a party man.
He being Wike or the governor
Fubara. Governor Fubara. These party big men thought that Fubara wasn't a party man, wasn't exactly an experienced politician, wasn't really one of them. He had been a career civil servant, and so they didn't think he was up to the bill of being governor. You know, politicians sometimes, after they have been in party work for many years, they believe that they should be rewarded. So Wike brought him in from outside of the system, as it were, and put him and made him governor.
Did you think he did that deliberately?
Of course he did, and it was to serve his own interest. I think that in looking for a successor, he wanted somebody who he could control, somebody over whom he could exercise a measure or a great measure of control. Now that the apple cart has tumbled, these men seeking for harvest have come up to say, we now back Governor Fubara, all right, and we are,
and these men include Wike's kinsmen.
Sure. I mean, us to not para is our plan, you know. So they come out to say, Mr. Governor, we are now behind you, okay? Because up until the time that the governor went to Abuja to sign the lopsided peace agreement and so on, they clamored, look, Fubara, you can do that, Wike, leave him alone and come, we'll support you. Fubara wasn't really willing to play that ball. But now I think that the casus belli has come home to roost, and so he has found that, look, somehow something has to give. That news conference being held now did the second thing, which for me was uncharacteristic, but I mean, it's politics, right? Because it's uncharacteristic. That's even what makes it more political.
Yeah.
In declaring support for Mr. President, let something be clear. These men are not just PDP leaders. They were also the caucus, the cockpit of Mr. Atiku Abubakar's campaign structure in Rivers State. All right?
They were in the cockpit, so to speak.
No, they were the henchmen.
Okay.
So, in declaring support for Mr. President, the question is, we thought that without these men, we can declare support for Mr. President and helped him to win.
In Rivers.
Being that the president is APC. But now they have come to say, maybe we can use them, who knows? But they have now come to say that they are also independently declaring their own support for Mr. President. And up until now,
independent of Wike.
And because the question will be, if Wike can do it to the president, why does he still need them? But curiously, our president, who is a man very heavy on politics, has neither condemned nor welcomed their defection to him, towards him. So this is a pointer to something that, in my language, they say that if a blind man tells you to run, it means that beneath his feet,
he's feeling something.
He has trapped a stone. Yes.
You are not feeling, yeah.
So that is where we are. The coming days will tell. If you notice, up until the press conference of yesterday, Governor Wike had been uncharacteristically very quiet. The question to ask is, what is the foundation?
That might be a seasonal.
Who knows? But the question to ask is, what has changed between when the governor came up from Abuja and now that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, that news conference took place, and since then, there has been, the whole political scenario has been topsy-turvy.
Good opener, Cyril, I dare say. But Wike is calling the Governor Fubara, a boy, and he has labeled Rivers State PDP leaders transactional politicians. You share the sentiment?
Not only that, he also went and said they were buccaneers. He gave us very fine, fantastic definition of who.
A buccaneer. Political buccaneers.
He also went on and said they were vampires. So this is where my sitting in between Cyril and your pointed question makes me to go a bit more direct. Interesting times are
here.
the offing.
Anything is possible.
I hope we will not get to the Obasanjo kind of years whereby the differences that we are seeing showing will end up, I pray, in assassinations of big men and big women. That blood will flow is an understatement. I'm not being narcissistic here. Blood is going to flow. Just was wondering, blood of the innocents and then blood of the big men. I hope. Having said that, I am now much more than convinced, Citizen Jones, maybe before now, not as so, that Barrister Wilson Wike is more than a force, take it or leave it, to contend with in the politics of Rivers State, and the politics of that region going forward. My reason being, some of the things that he said, if they are true, if some of the things that he said are true, politics is now making him to point a hand at Fubara and calling him boy. That's disingenuous, no doubt about that. But when it comes to the issue of politics that Harold Lasky defined as who gets what, where, whom,
When and how.
and we begin to look at a season and a night of long nights.
Mm-hmm.
It looks to me like hand has been poked into the eye of a lion or a stork.
Yeah.
With that, so is dirty politics. What I therefore foresee, since my humble advice appears not to have been taken, and people who have seen me on commentaries since May 29, as a matter of fact, when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came on, and especially when he appointed Wike as a minister for the Federal Capital Territory, I had suggested to Governor Fubara that he will fight and runs away, live to fight some other day, and that he has a lot to learn from a colleague, well, a former colleague, I dare say, Raji Fashola, who was governor in Lagos, and who was virtually going to be in the same kind of situation
Quandary.
with his godfather, now president of the Federal Republic. And I said, the gambler, that song.
Yes.
Know when to deal.
Yeah.
Know when to hold back. Don't count your money until the deal is done. I foresee a situation where when the enemy of your enemy that's supposed to be your friend and they are all gathered in one direction, and like our sports, the day you expect that you are going to win a match or you expect that things will happen, and then the fragrance spin comes in, and then you either do an umbo or you just slip over and then you lose the plot. My conviction, therefore, Citizen Jones, is that the man to beat in the river politics, since my advice was not taken, I dare say, is Nelson Wike, and Nelson Wike himself, right and proper. If Secondus, according to Wike, is not a job member of PDP, how come he's now speaking for PDP? Furusa and Kirosa, a season of wrongs and wrongs, is my opener, therefore saying that I support Wike in all the things that he's doing unnecessarily. However, in a season of night of long nights, if you are going to get this kind of action that I don't expect.
You think the long knives will come there?
I think the long knives have been drawn, and I think he's fighting dirty. I hope and I pray that there's going to be another chapter where the Jagaban himself will still have to come back in and do what many people will still say that it should not be done, and that reason might prevail. But if it goes on like this, Rivers State's politics in 2027 is going to be fully and tangentially decided by Barrister Nelson Wike. Thank you.
All right, Cyril, the popular saying is power corrupts absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Absolutely, yes.
But for politicians, the fear of losing control and influence makes a politician becomes more Machiavellian.
Exactly.
Do you see former Governor Wike upping the ante, remaining a lame duck?
No. He will remain a lame duck. As a matter of fact, the unspoken quest by all the parties one, primarily, is to secure Mr. President's nod of approval. Many
either of the sides.
Yes, you see, many people are not careful to note what is really going on. As Minister of the FCT, Wike should I have no dog in the fight really, but for what it is worth, when you're governor, now you are more or less governor of Abuja, mayor of Abuja. So focus on the FCT. That's your mandate. That's what the president has asked you to do.
Cyril, is that possible?
Well,
Cyril, I don't think it's possible because we've got to have a base.
May I answer?
And from that base, if you don't have a base, whether you are minister of FCT, whether you are minister
but your base cannot be to be attacking the government.
Okay. But
be fighting political.
You must have a base.
It's a distraction.
Okay, let's listen to
For me, it's a distraction of sorts. I mean, imagine the minister of FCT yesterday at the press conference. He wasn't laying out his agenda for the city. He wasn't talking about international partnerships to make Abuja a world-class capital. He wasn't talking about boosting tourism in Abuja to make it the most visited tourist center in Africa.
He has done that already.
He can follow up on it. This kind of thing that a minister has all the spare time in the world, organize a world press conference and be calling the governor of his home state a boy and be talking about political buccaneers. These people declare support for Mr. President. You get what I mean? They came out to say.
You think he's fooled by that?
No, but the question is the fact that the minister on the cabinet of the president is even using such uncouth language. For me, it speaks to it's unbecoming of.
I think that could be regrettable.
Good. So
in politics, and that is the point we have to expect more and more of that. This same Jagaban and the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria went beyond his normal, okay, to say, look, let's draw an agreement, okay? If you say the agreement is skewed against Fubara, no problem. I always say that sometimes we try to stoop to conquer. Even if that had happened, the same president you are now expecting to now give a nudge that will nudge the ball against his own net is going to be very, very hard. I make the point. Mr. President himself, and please call any politician, maybe it's Atiku Abubakar in Adamawa State, or maybe it's Peter Obi in Anambra State. You have to have a foundation, you call it a foundation, a place. The only politician that I have seen in Nigeria, he became president of this country 2 times, was Obasanjo. Obasanjo never got the backing even of his street on top
Yeah,
of
so can I bring this into
if you
the
don't
current
have that
discussion?
function,
Yes.
people will continue to jeer and jeer
Yes.
at you and begin to call you a second.
Yes, so we can come. So I mean, we can unpack the issues. What those men did was they basically said, we don't like what the former governor is doing. FC minister, we are not with him. We are backing the governor. We are backing Mr. President. Wike, I mean, so how does
no, complete that by saying we are now backing because they didn't back him in the first place.
Backing?
No, politics has to come with some kind of morality.
No, sure. So we are now backing Mr. President.
No, and we are not backing Fubara first.
And then Mr. President also.
And you think the president will believe that?
So I think that the real threat here is that.
Do you think the president will believe?
No. So I think the real.
You have no right.
The real threat here is the fact is that what happened to Amechi is about to happen to Wike, and Wike will do exactly what Amechi did. I can give you very good examples. After Amechi had gone to Abuja 2015 to become a minister under Buhari's government, right? He had the River State that he was no longer in control of in any way. Because having gone to the APC, the governor in River State then was a PDP governor who was Wike, and Wike didn't want to see Amechi either eye to eye or face to face. All right? So it meant that automatically Amechi had lost.
As if that was possible.
Yes, of course. But what that meant was that Amechi was in Abuja, but didn't have a base, to command any serious influence. Yes, at home. And we saw the sort of things Amechi did.
Yes.
How he went the extra mile and overboard, if only to make sure that he retained his seat in Abuja. He succeeded. Mm-hmm. Okay, he succeeded and did almost 8 years as minister.
Yes.
Now, Wike in this, I can tell you.
8 years as minister. At the end of the day, did he still have the backing of Rivers State?
No, he didn't have to.
He lost.
No, the answer is this. The answer is this. He was in Abuja as minister under when that president's term came to an end.
Yes.
He took a walk.
No,
all right?
No, he didn't exactly take a walk.
He ran for president, right? Oh, good.
He didn't just run for president.
Okay.
He was assured, allegedly, that he was favored.
Now, I don't want to go into a lot of allegedly.
No, it's told me that I should not be thinking for people. But he took a blank.
If I were to go with the allegedly issues, we won't leave it.
What Wike is fighting for is something a little different.
I know a lot of things that allegedly, if I was to say them allegedly now, you won't believe what you're going to hear. But let me just quickly wrap up what I was saying.
Before as you make the wrap up, I want you to reconcile the following statement by Wike. He says, that was on Tuesday. He said, Sekibo, Secondos, Omehia, and Opara are all expired politicians. You believe him?
I don't believe him.
Okay.
I don't believe him. So,
but you don't think he has a reason for saying this?
Well, other than the fact that in politics, mudslinging is part of the game for some people, maybe including Wike. So in 2015, Amechi goes to become minister. The question is, can you deliver River State to Mr. President in 2019? Assurances were given. All right? Were given to the extent that if you know what happened on election in 2019 Port Harcourt, people literally staked their lives to have the PDP and Wike win a second term.
Okay.
In the local government area, right? Party mobilizers went to the local government council. Women stripped naked and lay on front of the local government council and said, if these APCs are going to cross over us, let them cross us before they go and take the ballot boxes. People risk their lives for Wike to win a second term. Now the same thing has happened. Wike is in Abuja as minister. He has fallen out with his political godson, who is governor. Governors are powerful because the governor has all the money. Automatically, we've been seeing the defections, members of Senate, members of House of Reps, reps, right? Even local politicians, some of Wike's mobilizers are now all turning into the governor's camp. He knows he's losing ground. It was that shift in Port Harcourt University that gave these men, Sekibo, Opara, Omeya, and Secondus, the ground to stand and say, based on, they just spoke with that fire. Based on this, we denounce Wike, support for one as one of the president, because all of the groundwork that will be done for anybody to win an election are now in our hands. Listen, when they did that, Wike, in my view, now feels threatened. feels, shall I say, shortchanged. And like I said, all of you that didn't back him in the past, you're not backing him. Believe me that Wike will continue to spew fire and brimstone on the 27. And I want to laugh, very simple. Fubara may retain his governorship, most likely will retain his governorship. Then Wike will be torn between whether he can deliver support from Mr. President, or be the one to, or allow these other men that have come to declare support from Mr. President to deliver visit for Mr. President. But as it is, Wike's job is already in jeopardy.
Cynics are talking about a possible defection for Wike. I don't know. But that's by the way. In taking this discussion home, therefore, I'm reminded, in connection to what you just said, of the saying of Napoleon Bonaparte. He said, "Do not interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake." Can you determine who is making a mistake here?
I think it will be yes on Wike. I won't call it a mistake. It's a gamble. It could pay off, but inevitably, it may lead to his own anticlimax if he's not careful. Yes.
Have you heard there are underground movements to get the governor Fubara impeached? Have you heard that?
Oh, one of the long nights that we have, I disagree with Cyril that I disagree with him, and he has a right to hold that opinion. Who is making a mistake? I think, in my honest opinion, that Fubara might be the one now making the larger part of mistake, based on promises and assurances that have been given by Secondus or maybe
by this Bacchus.
Sekibo, yeah.
And Sekibo. And again, go back to your question. Is Wike, does he have a reason why he's calling them those names? Yes. They were all ganged together against Fubara. He defeated them. They were all ganged together, initially against his own immediate, predecessor in office. He defeated them. I think I see a situation where we have a grassroots politician talking tough and big. Yes. At the end of the day, the people of Rivers State will have to find a way to take a decision. Now, while this fight is on, I like our listeners to remember history. We had the Amala politicians, Adedibu at that point in time, and governors rose up and said, "No, you can go to hell," and he laughed them to scorn. We also have the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I think the greatest threat, something similar to this, would have happened during Rajiv Shola's time. Reason prevails. And I had suggested that I don't have a problem if Fubara believes on these people. But you don't put all your eggs in one basket. I mean, it's a common aphorism. Cyril also went ahead, even though you said I should not think for Mr. President. I think it's a seasoned politician. He can read somehow in between the lines. He was also promised at some point in time in some sections of this country, and he drew blank. I think at the end of the day, the deciding factor will be, Fubara, are you able, despite it all, to return dividend of democracy to the people of Rivers State? Wike, as the federal minister of the capital territory, are you capable of making some marked difference? I'm beginning to see elements of that. Who then decides who is the man and eventually who is the boy, in my own honest opinion. If Cyril is making it out, yes, they are all waiting. That's a very critical statement he made, and I think I respect you for that statement, Cyril. When you said that they are all waiting for the North. you are not likely to get that nod. We didn't get that nod in Ondo State. And we're also getting, elements of, like Zubi Ali Tatiwa, is it the division and all that. A very good politician who know how to stay in between, do the swimming underwater, and at the end of the day, it comes to you like a flash of pan. Bola Ahmed Tinubu won the presidency of Nigeria against all odds, based on brinkmanship, real downtown politics. You are still going to see a few lacuna. You are still going to see a few lacuna. And if I know Bola Ahmed Tinubu very well, he will latch onto that lacuna and still get the prize. God help Nigeria and God help River State.
All right. I think on that note, we must end, but not before thanking Cyril Abaku. Cyril, thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
We hope River State gets healed very soon.
Sure.
Aki, thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure always, Citizen James. Thanks for watching us, listeners.
Okay, so the melodrama, some would say, continues to play out in River State. The coming days will tell. But that's our program for today. We should see you the next time. Until then, this is yours sincerely, Citizen Jones Hussein. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.